The next voices that you will hear are from Zyahna Bryant. Zyahna is a 16-year-old student activist and community organizer who attends Charlottesville High School. She is an active member of the City of Charlottesville Youth Council and serves as a member of the National League of Cities Youth Planning Committee and the City of Promise Youth Council. And just a personal note of admiration for Zyahna, she founded the Black Student Union at Charlottesville High School. So she's doing the work. She's doing the work. Black girls rock, black girls lead, black girl magic. I see you, all right? And then you will also hear from Mr. Devin Willis. Devin Willis is a second-year undergraduate in the College of Arts and Sciences right here at the University of Virginia. He's pursuing degrees in both linguistics and global development studies. And he has a lot of different activities going on, like so many VA students. He's all over the place, doing everything, being committed, doing the work. One thing that brought him here is his awesome work with the Black Student Alliance. And so he's going to talk a little bit about his work there and in other places. So I want to get out of the way and stop taking up space, and I want for us to lift. Yeah. There it is. All right.
Hello. Okay, thank you. I'm so happy to see all of you guys, and I've just been really empowered by all of the very impactful youth here, and you guys really inspire me, so thank you for coming, and thank you for letting me be here. So I am Zyahna Bryant, and I am a junior at Charlottesville High School, and I founded the Black Student Union during my freshman year in high school. And the reason behind that, thank you. And the reason for doing that is because I was doing my research as an 8th grader and trying to just be involved in everything during freshman year, and I was like, okay, what clubs are there for Black student organizers or people who just want to come gather around Black issues? And I realized that there aren't any clubs at our school. And so I did a lot of research the summer before 9th grade year, and I presented like 5-page proposal to my principal and asking her if we could have this, because I realized that we had a rise in racial tensions here in Charlottesville, and there was definitely a need. And we still have studies coming out showing that Black 3rd graders in Charlottesville, most of them cannot read on grade level, and we continue to see Black students suffering in Charlottesville city schools, and I felt like this was something that needed to be addressed. And it had to come from students, because teachers had been telling me that they were trying to fix this on a fundamental level in their own capacities, but nothing was being done. So when we originally submitted our proposal for the Black Student Union, we heard no response. And so that's why I'm here talking about a call to action, because I had to mobilize people who supported the cause, and we had to push it forward to be able to establish the Black Student Union. So 21 days without a response from our administration, we came back and we took to social media and created a petition. And so a petition is something that I've done several times. I also wrote the petition calling for the renaming of Lee Park and the removal of the statue. And so as we saw in Charlottesville, that petition kind of started a movement. And it's been very wild of a ride, but back to the Black Student Union, just getting the word out was very helpful. We had people reach out to us from many different universities, including Virginia Tech, UVA, and Georgia State. And those people were all offering support to help us establish the Black Student Union. My friend Kishana is here, and she also helped me to create the Black Student Union, and she's very integral in our school and helping to keep these movements going. So I think that the biggest thing for me for just getting people to move to action after we have a strategic plan is writing op-ed pieces, not just creating petitions, but having those conversations. We knocked on doors. We went on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And just when you're moving for action, it's very important to be strategic, because if you don't meet people where they are, then you will have a lot of just mess and disarray. And so I found that not everyone is as radical as me and is not willing to just stand up and be on the front line. So, but I do have friends who are good with graphics, like Kibriti. He's here somewhere. There he is. And I was like, Kibriti, what can you help us do to create a flyer to get the word out? And then I was like, Kishana, you're good with social media. What can you do to help us? So I think, like I said, with a move to action and with a call to action, it's important to be strategic and meet people where they are and use them in the best way that you can. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? Okay, so thank you guys for the great introduction and for having me here this afternoon. My name is Devin Willis. Like it was said, I'm an undergraduate, and I primarily work with the Black Student Alliance. So I'm going to talk to you guys about my work with the BSA, and then my work for my employer, so my actual work at the Institute for Environmental Negotiation. So what is BSA? It is an organization that was too old for me to have founded it. It was started in 1969. It was originally the Black Students for Freedom at the university. And that's the generation of, some of the first Black students to come to the grounds, like Wesley Harris and James Roebuck days. I know it's like maybe 10 years apart, but like the OGs, right? And so what is the mission of the Black Student Alliance? Our primary job is to articulate the social and political concerns of the Black community. That doesn't mean that we're a monolithic organization. We don't speak on behalf of every Black student, but we try to articulate the most important, I think, matters of the day. A secondary function is that we perform political action. We do that a lot, actually. We perform political action against unjust policies or initiatives that come out of the university or are occurring on the grounds. And the third function, it's a little more peripheral as well. It's that the Black Student Alliance also functions as an umbrella organization for all of the other diasporic groups that are on grounds. The Habesha movements, just basically there's a Pan-African culture that's really powerful at UVA and it's thriving. And so with the Institute for Environmental Negotiation, my primary job is that I work for the Transforming Community Spaces Project. And what that is, it's an initiative that was begun by my boss, Frank Dukes. And what we do is we study spaces that are controversial, but more than that. So places that were once problematic as they are on their way to become something different and perhaps better. And a very strange set of events have happened to me since I've gone to UVA. Apart from some of our more infamous problems, something that happened to me was that I was working on a case study about the Lee Monument in Charlottesville sometime in late July. And we had finished the case study and things started taking off in the city. And so that's when I think my consciousness as a student really accelerated, and that's what I want to talk about the most. So I'd never even come to Charlottesville before 2016 as a prospective high school student. I'm from Fredericksburg originally. But since arriving here, I feel like I've transitioned from a passenger citizen to someone who's more concerned with kind of steering the vehicle and seeing what's going on around me and maybe exercising my agency and being a part of that. And I think my instance was a bit unique in that it was sprung upon me. So like I said, we're working on these case studies, and I happen to be the only BSA officer who was staying in Charlottesville over the summer. And so basically the secretary now found himself the de facto political action chair, which was a position that I never even thought I'd be kind of interested in. That's a lie, I'm kind of political, but I didn't think I'd ever be political action chair, but it just happened to me, right? So my job was to do this liaisoning between Black Lives Matter Seville and just the fantastic collection of people that sprung out of I won't say the woodwork, but they came out and they showed up, and there was amazing community organizing that was happening over the summer. And I sort of got brought into that fold. So you fast forward a few weeks later, I was on the People's Action for Racial Justice Committee, which was responsible for organizing the counter demonstrations that were happening on the 12th in Justice and Emancipation Parks. And since then, a lot has happened, and I'm not gonna walk through all of it, but I would just say that that's what I wanted to talk about, transitioning from passive to active, taking responsibility for the world that you inhabit. And I think that activism, as me and Zyahna were just talking about behind doors a second ago, has to be a multifaceted thing. Intersectionality is very important, but also knowing how to maximize your efficacy is important. So that doesn't look like trying to do everything, and it doesn't look like doing nothing either. It looks like knowing what you're best at and maximizing your impact in the spheres that you have influence in. So the BSA, revisiting BSA, some of the things that we've been working on are, we were the primary organizers of the March to Reclaim Our Grounds and the demands that came out of that. I don't know if anyone's familiar with them, but we released 10 public demands to the university. And essentially all we did was write, but in less than 3 months, the Confederate plaques on the rotunda have been removed. Teresa Sullivan has reallocated funds to help the medical expenses of those who were injured in the attacks. And I think none of that would have been possible had it not been for that multifaceted approach that I just mentioned a little bit, which looks like, going out there and doing the march, but then also meeting with administrators, and then also meeting with students who have influence on the Board of Visitors, and all of these kind of things that come together, and you have created a change, and it's incredible. And the last thing I'll say is about tactics. So one thing that I've really struggled with in the past few months is tactics. And I'd never expected there to be so much, a whole new world of controversy that is unlocked when you step into activism. And I think in some respect that's inevitable, but it's by no means a bad thing. And basically the BSA and some other student groups had a huge disagreement about how radical is too radical and how big of an ask is too big of an ask. And I just wanted to reiterate my personal revelation out of all this, which is that all the tactics are successful when they're working in concert together. And I think that's a little bit self-evident, but I wanted to say it. Thank you.